Planning a destination wedding and wondering why flights aren't included in your travel package? Stay tuned, I'll give you some answers on that. Hi, I'm Jack with Vacationies. Do me a favor, please, and subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every Tuesday, but let's talk about flights. So a lot of times people ask us, hey Jack, why aren't you or any of the other travel professionals including flights in my package? Well, I want to give you a couple of the reasons. The first one is price. So let's say we call American Airlines and we say we need a group block of seats. I can tell you from experience that the price they will give us today is probably more than the price if you go online and find them. I know that sounds very strange, but when we've talked to the airlines, basically they look at the flights and they know they're going to sell out. So they see no reason a year in advance or 9 months in advance to discount any seats. As you probably know, typically when you look at flights, about every 5 to 7 seats that people book, the prices go up. So again, the airlines will tell us, you know, there's no reason for us to give you a discount. We're selling out the planes, a limited number of seats. So price is one reason we typically won't do a group block for your seats on an airplane. Number two would be the airlines will typically require for a group of seats to have at least 15 to 20 people travel on the same flights, the same dates, at the same time. And I can tell you from experience that just doesn't happen the majority of times. Some people want to come on an early flight, some want to come later, some want to come one day early, some want to stay a day late. So in the past when we have done group blocks, we're finding that we don't fill them, and then there's penalties for you, the bride and groom, if your friends are not filling the block. The other issue is, let's say we're planning your wedding a year, 18 months in advance, we can get the prices from the hotels today, as you know, and that price will stay firm up until the time you travel. The problem is with the airlines is that most of the airlines do not put their schedules out until 9 to 11 months in advance. And in the case of Southwest, it could be 6 months. So that's a lot of the times we'll get an airline say, look, we just don't have the flights yet. So we can get the room rates, but we can't get the flights. Now, the other thing I can tell you, which is reality, is in the United States, most people seem to have some way to get discounted flights, whether they have Capital One, Chase, frequent flyer miles, vouchers from being bumped. We just see that people have their own way to get some discount or use miles to book flights, and we as your travel professional or any travel professional can't use those. You have to deal with the airline directly. The other thing we see in the United States is that versus Canada and people coming from the UK is in the US people want flexibility. I want to come early, I want to come late, I want to get a first class upgrade, so I found this flight that's better. So when I look at what we're getting of flight requests from people, or when people give us their flights to arrange their transfers, I can tell you if we have, say, 50 people to a wedding, it's very infrequently that we see more than 2 or 3 rooms on the same exact flights. I just think we like the flexibility of, because we're loyal to American or Southwest because we get free luggage, people like to pick the flights that they want. Because I'm always getting that question, why can't we do a package with the flights? Hopefully these help you understand why we don't. It's not that we can't, I just typically don't suggest it for these reasons. And in terms of the flights, one of the other things, American Airlines did a study a couple years ago, and they found out that over 60% of people on leisure travel, vacations, tend to book their flights from 9 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning. So one of the reasons we tend not to book a lot of flights is we tend to take off between 9 o'clock at night and 7 in the morning. I know sometimes you get email from us or your travel professional, but we tend not to do flights for most of our guests. If they need us to do them, we will, but what we find is most people will book on their own. We do tell people, do not book on an Expedia, an Orbitz, a Hotwire, cheap tickets, one of these companies. Book directly with the airline. That way, if God forbid there's a schedule change or any change happening or issue with the airline, you have a direct connection with the airline. You're not going through an intermediary and sitting on hold or dealing with chat or tweeting at somebody. So again, we do suggest that if you're going to book your own flights or when you book your own flights, that you do it directly with an airline and not with a third-party travel site. Hopefully this information has been helpful in answering why we typically don't do flights as part of a group trip. And if you have any other questions, feel free to post a comment. And remember, I do post new videos every Tuesday.